Hello, how are you?
Hi. So show must go on, like it's like
Exactly. It's my very first interview on Instagram Live. So forgive me for not being very savvy in terms of technique. Sorry about that.
okay, let me introduce yourself first. So I will introduce myself, then I will introduce you. My name is
Absolutely.
Anna, and who follows me, they know me very well. So like I'm the owner of big trademark DAK, and today I want to make my first interview as well with David Serero. It's my friend. He is an opera singer, he's a producer, he's an actor. By the way, I have read your biography. I'm really impressed. You have participated in really many different competitions,
Thank you, dear.
concerts. So introduce yourself, please. I think it will be very interesting for everyone that you introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, the thing, the achievement I'm the most proud of is to be your friend. You know.
Thank you.
So no, I'm an opera singer. I'm also an actor, and I produce. I do a lot of I put a lot of shows together. I also write shows, and by writing shows, I write books. Also, I have my own record label because I do a lot of recordings. I love the recordings, and also I love to create also new adventures, sometimes brands, sometimes things that are connected with show business, sometimes not so connected. But at the end of the day, for me, it's all the same job, which is um, to do something and to work with people that I love, that I admire, and that I want to do things with, definitely.
Super. So I'm very happy that you accepted my request to have an interview. And
Пожалуйста.
c'est très gentil, merci.
Merci. Da.
So first of all, what I would like to ask you right now, you're in New York. Right now, the situation is very difficult in general in
Yeah.
the case of America. So how is it going? It was locked down. Right now, it's this situation which is connected with racism. How could you comment this situation in general, and how does it impact on your work in general?
Yeah. Well, the protests do not really impact my work because we were in lockdown anyway, So there was the lockdown started on March 13, which is the day that I had the first show of a new musical that I'm directing, producing about Anne Frank, very beautiful musical written by Jean-Pierre Dida. And I did it already last September in New York. It was a big success, so I brought it again in March. And 2 hours before the first performance, I had to cancel it because of the lockdown. So, and to this day, everything like the cup of coffee, everything is still at the theater because it's still not reopened. We still do not have access to it. So yeah, we away. Sorry, some people were calling me. We lived it. I lived it right into it, like really in the center of it. So at the beginning, to be honest with you, this lockdown, I was happy about it because I was so tired that I just wanted to rest. But also, it was necessary because you could feel really the pandemic growing and people around you like dying. Really. So it was a big thing. So originally they said that the shows were supposed to resume, like to come back in April. So I put all the shows of March, I pushed them to April. Then after they said May, so I pushed everything to May. Then after I said June, I pushed everything to June and July. And now I decided to put everything in October, November, if, of course, I have the authorization from the government. Like if the government says that it is safe to open, then we will open. But we have to go back, but only if it is safe. Because as the producer, I have the responsibility for the audience, but also for all my wonderful colleagues, all the actors, and that they come like this close to me sometimes. So we have to be uh, um, you know, to be in a good health position. So, you know, we don't know yet. They said January 2021, the next shows, but I have good faith that by September things will start to reopen.
But as I know, for example, Oktoberfest, which is very, very famous worldwide, is cancelled. So who knows? And when you are in New York, and you have said me that you're planning to be back to Paris in January, in December.
Yeah, no, I wanted to go to vacation in Cannes or in you know in the French Riviera this summer, but I guess I'm gonna be stuck in New York. But yeah, I mean the only time where I might go to Paris to see my family, take some vacation would be probably not before January, you know, because I have shows in October, November, and December. So you know, until we know if it's canceled or not from the government. But for the moment, they say it's okay. You know, from September 6th, they say that it's okay. So we will see.
Yeah, but you know, anyway, you were invited for my wedding.
Oh,
so
when is it?
I guess it will be in that of July or in the beginning of August. But so you have said me that you were planning to be back soon. So maybe.
I try, darling. I try. But I'm sure you will have a wonderful wedding and the wedding that you deserve.
Thank you very much. I'm very, very happy. Like
now, Mazel Tov. Congratulations.
With you. So what I wanted to ask you, how do you think, for example, I have got a lot of questions in private messages from to start their opera career, who want to start singing, who want to how to start, what to do, how did you get this idea to start this, and how it started? Why are you in the way like you are right now?
Well, you know, it's very interesting. I worked very, very hard on my craft, you know, as a singer, and you know, you have some, you know, it's like the Olympics, you know, where everybody starts on the same line. You know, me, I started way, way, way behind because I had problem with my ears. I had problem on my vocal cords. So I started really not on the same line. So I had to work basically 10 times more. And I never grew up in a house where we were listening to opera or classical music, you know, or jazz or anything like that, you know. So I had to learn all these literature, all these works, even the work of Shakespeare, you know. I didn't know, you know, much of it, you know. So I had to study and study and study. And now it's much easier than at my time because now you have YouTube. So when you want to hear something, you have stuff to compare yourself to, you know. You can record yourself with your iPhone and hear yourself and say, oh, I suck, I'm good, you know, I'm bad, you know. So, but back in the days, we didn't have that. So you had to buy the DVD. Even DVD was hard to find, you know. But it's I would say you need a lot of honesty with yourself. If already in life someone tells you, oh, you know, you gain a little bit of weight, and you're like, what? Me, I gain weight? What are you talking? How dare you? I don't talk, you know. If you're like this, then forget about opera, you know, because you know, even some big names like Pavarotti or Placido Domingo, like all these big guys, that they are the greatest ever, you know, they get critics also. So you have to be able to take criticism as something that is good for you. After, you know, it's sometimes when I do a show, my ears are open to everyone. I listen to what everyone would be saying to me, some good stuff, some bad stuff. But after, I take the decision of what I will apply, what I will keep, what I will not use, what I will use. Because at the end of the day, what makes me, it's also my own, how I'm sensitive to and takes choices. So you need that. You need also to work with great teachers. And that is very, very difficult to find a good teacher. It was very hard for me until I found some. And after, once you have worked on your craft, you have to understand, you know, and make yourself available all the time. You know, I'm always available for everyone. You know, everyone call me, I reply right away. I call back right away. I reply to every messages, every emails. I never say no, because, you know, I always say, if you don't go, you never know, you know, and if you do your job well, stuff will come. You know, it's not the job that makes you, it's you that makes the job, you know. So you know, you have actors, they had 2 lines in the movie and everybody say, oh my God, they're so good. And people who are doing the whole movie, nobody cares about them. So it's about that. But the more it goes, the more I realize that, especially from the fact that I'm producer and I hire over 250 artists per season, you know, per year. So I realized that talent is one thing, hard work is one thing, but the personality of the people, are they strong in their heads? Are they willing to, I would say, to grow? Do they have the desire to grow? These are, you know, really, qualities. But when you ask to a young actor or young singer, they will always tell you, oh yeah, I'm very good, I'm strong, I'm good. But at the moment when you have to, what we call, deliver the goods, then it's another story. And to be always constant in your work ethics, that's very important. But you have all these qualities, you know, I know.
Okay, I have 2 questions to you.
Sure.
Well, who would you say thank you for, like, from teachers? You have said that you have met a lot of teachers on your way, and who would you say thank you very much for hard working with me?
Oh, well, they actually, every single teacher I've ever worked with, every single colleagues I ever worked with, you know, you know, the teacher can tell you things, but he cannot put a gun on your head and say, okay, now learn it, like implement it, put it in your head. A teacher cannot do that to you. You know, it's only your decision to value the value of these advices, you know. But I was lucky that I had really teachers who were really tough on me, that they did not let me use this much because they knew I will go, you know, in another direction. So I would say Janine Rice, you know, she passed away not a long time ago. She was 99, and she taught Maria Callas. She taught, you know, all the big guys. So she really helped me a lot. There was Anna Maria Bondi, a wonderful singer. I remember she had pens, you know, in front of a piano, pens in a little round holder like this, and she used to throw me the pens when I will do mistakes and stuff like that. So at the end of the lesson, I was picking up all the pens that were on the floor to put it back on the on the pot, you know. But, you know, trust me, when you receive 1 pen, then 2 pen, at the second pen you start to not to do the mistake anymore. And I had also Georges Chaminet, who really helped me, another tenor who passed away called Christian Jean. He really helped me. And then really I listened to a lot of singers, and also I was lucky that I was able to perform all the time and everywhere, like in basements, in stadium, on television, in front of 5 people, in a cafe, in the streets, in the subway, in big theater, in opera, musical theater, you know, everything, you know. So all on the recordings, so all that experience makes you, because it's all an equation, it's all mathematics. So if you change one thing from the equation, then the result is always different. So whatever was part of the equation is the result of who we are today.
One more question. How is that? Frenchman, New York, the United States of America. How?
Well, how? Because the plane, you know. No, it's really I've always, when I grew up, I was always fascinated by America, by the Americans, and by I think more New York than America, because there was something in New York that I was really in love with. And of course, after, when I moved in, when I first came in when I was 16 years old, I came alone, you know, and I saw, and that was before iPhones, before internet, before, you know, so it was very different than today. And I saw all these buildings, you know, and all these musicals and all these great stuff. So I always had this affair, and also my style, because if you know a little bit my shows, I take opera, but I make it fun. I take theater, but I take classics, but I arrange them a certain way. I do specific adaptations. So all these stuff, I felt had a bigger place in New York. Now I did, of course, stuff all over the world, in Russia, привет, мои русские друзья, привет. Я говорю по-русски, я очень люблю русские люди, они самые красивые, самые добрые, самые умные, у них самые красивые культуры. Я вообще очень люблю русские люди, я очень скучаю Москву, очень. Я жил 2 года в Санкт-Петербурге, я был в Мариинский театр для 2 года, и вообще русские люди, они самые добрые, для русских людей я всегда буду здесь вообще. So yeah, but New York is really the center of the world. You know, in New York you have a Russian community, you have a Jewish community, you have a French community, you have really everything, and you absorb all these community and all these origins and all these talents to make yourself. And also where I come from, the fact that my family is Jewish from Morocco, you know.
Wow.
That I was born, that I grew up in Paris, that I watch all these entertainers in France, guys like Gad Elmaleh, like Michel Boujna, Louis de Funès, Jean-Paul Belmondo, Pierre Richard, all these guys. But also I watch Laurence Olivier doing Shakespeare. I watch Robert De Niro, Al Pacino on stage. I watched all of these guys, and also that I do opera. So at the end, this equation that I have all of that in my salad, in my mix, you know, makes me something unique. So you always start from who you are, where you're from, and New York is definitely the place to be to bring all your stuff. But I must say I miss Paris, and I miss Russia and Ukraine. And I was in Ukraine in October.
Really?
Yeah, Odessa and Kiev had the best time, you know, really. So I miss Russia. I know it's very hard now with the quarantine, and I hope really that things gonna go really, really good for my dear friend from Russia, from Ukraine, from Belarus, from all these beautiful people, beautiful country, and I can't wait to come back, you know.
So you're always welcome to Ukraine. I personally invite you.
Спасибо вам.
You're welcome. So I have a question, one more question to you.
Of course, as many as you want.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, because like I have always wanted to ask you many questions, but
of course, my dear, anything you want.
It's written that you're a producer as well, right? So how does it work? Do you produce anyone right now, or how does it work in show business in general? I guess it's very interesting for many people who want to be stars, who want to sing, who want to do something in life, what is music.
Yeah. Well, you know, for me, the reason why I became a producer was that there's a phrase I always say is I wanted to provoke destiny, you know, which means that there were artists that I really love, friends of mine. And I was like, man, I hope one day we'd do something together. And we both, let's say that there was this opera that I really wanted to sing that nobody cared, you know, nobody was really wanted to put together. And there was that theater who wanted to do stuff with me. So I said, okay, let's bring all these people together and let's do something. So I've always had, and also I had this desire, if work doesn't come to you, it's you to create work. And my desire to perform brought me also to producing. And also I realized that when you are an artist, not every artist is a good businessman. You know, the way they speak, the way they answer, the way they listen also, because to be a businessman is you need to speak, to ask the right question, but you need also to listen, you know. So I always knew that I had a good sense of business. And of course, every time I worked in productions, before I started to do my own production, I was always analyzing the mistakes of the others, but also what they were doing, why they did it like this, what they put the rehearsals like that, why they put the poster like this, why they did too much performances. Five would have been more packed, they would have sold the tickets at a higher price instead of doing 10 and have nobody after 3 shows, you know. So a lot of things like that that I learned, but really what I really love it's always two things. First thing is you need an immediate talent, which means nowadays when you receive a demo, you really listen the first 10, 20, 30 seconds, you know. If it's not happening right away, then forget it. You know, a lot of artists nowadays, they love to add what I call the subtitles, which means they arrive, they tell you, but I'm this, I'm that, my voice is that, as the person who is like this, I want, this is my message. I'm like, people, when they listen to the song on the radio, they don't have that subtitle, you know. So you need to convince people. And same story on Broadway. When you have audition, it's 16 bars, you know. 16 bars is barely 30 seconds, you know. So you need to really be able to convince people right away, and people will cut you off even after 3 bars, you know. So that is the most important. And also many times I had some artists very, very good that I heard their voices, I was like, wow. I remember the song was not even over that I was already calling them and say, man, we have to meet. Like, I want to sign you. I want to work with you. And then you meet with the person shows up an hour late, you know, didn't dress a little bit, didn't make effort to show you that that meeting is important. And also, you know, he had an argument with the table that was sitting right next to him because they were talking too loud. He spoke very badly to the waiter. When I told him something, he was like, yeah, I don't know, we'll see. Oh, really? I have to do interviews? Oh, yeah, well, am I paid to do the interviews? You know, so by the end of the meeting, I knew that I would not work with that person. So that experience shows that it's not that there was the talent. I called right away. There was an immediate talent, but there was not the soul that goes with it, you know. And I'm the best example that I was born with 0 talent. I really was terrible. I would say until last 2-3 years that I really feel I made good progress as a singer, you know. But now I listen stuff of me 10 years ago and I'm like, oh, it was not that bad, you know. I said that because I was skinnier, so I was like, okay, but but it's also because really I always had the mind of being a singer and of being a good businessman. And I would tell you that I think it was 12 years ago. I remember I was in my shitty car and I couldn't understand why I was not getting work. I was like, how come I'm not getting work? I mean, I've done everything. I studied to the best school. I went with the best teachers. When I sing, people are like, oh my God, your voice, whatever, you know, why I don't get work? And this guy or this girl who is not good, they succeed. And when you talk to them, you're like, they're not smarter than me. You know what I mean? We all feel like this. We all look at the other, say, how come that one yes and me no? You know, and then I read one day an interview from a very good opera singer, a good friend of mine. And he said on his interview, so of course, when you don't get hired, you start to develop ideas. Oh, it's because the other are racist. Oh, that's because I'm a man, or I'm a woman, or because I'm gay, because I'm not gay, because I'm Jewish, because I'm not Jewish, because I'm this, because I'm not this, because I have black hair. No, because I don't have black hair, because I'm blonde, because, you know, you develop all kind of ideas. All I can tell you, if I have a turtle who sings well, I will hire the turtle. I don't care the color of the person. But what I want to tell you is I was in that car and I was like, oh, you know, it's because the other are racist, because the other are anti-Semitic, because the other are this or that. How stupid was it for me to think of that? And then I see an interview of a great opera singer who is Jewish. And he said, I don't know one good opera singer who has no job, because they are too very few good opera singers. And then I realized, oh, then maybe the reason why I didn't get work at that time was because I was not good. And then I started to work with great teachers, and I started to work again on my craft and say, okay, I went to a teacher. I said, listen, I don't care if we spend 1 year on one phrase, but I want to do at least one phrase good, you know? And after, from that, I started to have one more show. And from one show, I started to get, I had the rule of three, I call it. Every time I perform, I had three more engagement coming from that engagement. So that was the proof that it's about work, but it's about a good soul and a good personality. And we are at a time now when people feel that they can say whatever they want, that they're mixing free speech and the platform that they have on social media to say whatever they want, you know. But you have sometimes to learn how to keep things for yourself and think what is most important, to open your mouth or to pay for your rent.
David Serero, showman or businessman more? Because from your
look, showman is business. You know, I mean, at the end of the month, when I pay my rent, when I pay my employees, it is a business. When I pay my artists, it is a business. You know, and all of that depends on how good I am on stage. You know, so both of them are. You know, when you have a family to feed, also. You have to think of it as a business. You have responsibilities. You know, it's not just to pay for your food and vacation. It's you on your own. You know, you have to take care of your family. You have to take care of other people, and these people depend on you. So you really need to. I think both are are at one. And there is something that I love to teach and to give a masterclass about. It is for artists to have a mind of a businessman. It doesn't mean you will not do mistakes. It doesn't mean you will not fail, but you must learn from that, because I can promise you 90% of the time, the artist is his own or her own enemy. So it's very, and I was my own enemy for many years, until, you know, I had that moment where I was like, come on, man, I don't understand. I cannot even pay a rent. Come on, you know why I'm driving this shitty car? Why, you know? So the car was terrible. Like, you had to open the door to stop the car and put the feet. The brakes were not working. You know, no, but you know, the car would stop at every time the car would stop at neutral. You know, at parking. You know, the engine will stop. So I had to restart it. So I remember when I saw red traffic light, it was Peugeot 406, you know, 406 Peugeot, like very old car. And the car was arriving when I saw the red light, you know, here. I wouldn't go and stop at the red light. So I knew it would stop. I would start to drive very, very slow, so that by the time I will arrive, there will be the green light and I can continue. So these are cute memories, but now I'm laughing about it, but at that time, trust me, I was not laughing, you know.
Experience, and anyway, you could tell the story to anyone, anyway, and just to inspire someone to work harder. Tell me, please, talented, drop dead gorgeous, intelligent.
We're talking about you now.
No.
Not about me, for sure.
Thank you very much for the compliment, but question, married, not married? It's a private question if you don't want
to... Not married. Not married. I was married with a Russian girl. I was married with a Russian girl for 2 years. And it was a really a good experience, because I think every man, they should go to university, they should study, but also they should be at least once with a Russian or Ukrainian woman. Because I had, you know, a couple of girlfriends before, you know, but there is nobody like a Russian or Ukrainian or Belarusian, you know, all these region in Eastern, who will work so hard on you, who will push you to go to the top, who will say, you know, by example, I remember I was performing and there was some American girls coming to me saying, oh my God, you look so amazing on stage. Oh my God, you know. And my ex-wife would come and say, listen, you look fat on stage with the cheek like this. I was ashamed. People told me, is it your husband? I said, no, that's not my husband. I don't know this man. And your shirt was not ironed. How dare you go on stage and the shirt is not ironed? Then tell, you know, so they want you really to succeed and to push you and to say, and they're the one really motivating you, because many times I saw friends of mine who are like oligarchs who made, you know, a lot of money, and I was like, they're still with the same wife that they know for 40 years, where they could have a model, you know, in her 20s and everything, and they say, you know, that it's my wife who really invested on me, invested her time, invested her energy on me, so she deserves to be part of all that stuff. There was this beautiful story of Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. It's a true story. They went in a restaurant in near Chicago, and Michelle Obama said to Barack, she said, can you believe the owner of this restaurant, I used to date him right before I met you, you know? And so Barack said, oh, that means, can you imagine that you would have been the wife of a restaurant owner and never the first lady, you know? And she said, you don't understand, Barack. If I would have married him, he would have been the president, you know? So I thought that was a beautiful, that was really a beautiful phrase, but definitely I advise everyone one day to be with a Russian woman, and really, because go ahead, yeah, sorry.
I will tell this to my husband. I think that he knows.
Yeah, no, it has to know. No, for sure it has to know. No, because it has a strong impact. And let me tell you, I've never seen people more like Russians and Ukrainian, Belarus, etc., who are more, in English we say, hustling, which means like working so hard to find money. You know, like they go everywhere to work hard to, oh, I have an idea, you know what, I have a nice clothes, how about I'm gonna open a business to rent the clothes, you know, like I'm good to give advice for makeup, or you know, they find ways, and I love them and admire them so much for that. They're really good for it, and I must say, really, I would never be what I am without my, you know, without the Russian culture, you know, for sure.
Okay.
But not married, single. So whoever is looking and you're in New York,
yeah,
please,
send you.
Please call me. Please, пожалуйста. Пожалуйста.
Okay. David, I think we can make a little present to people who are watching us. Maybe you could sing something. I know the connection is not so good.
So I would say, because you have black eyes, right? And this is Russia. I'm just going to do a little bit. So I hope with the mic it's not going to be too loud, but you know. Очі чорні, очі страстні, очи жгучие и прекрасные, как люблю я вас, как боюсь я вас. Знать увидел вас я в не в добрый час. И очи черные, очи страстные, очи жгучие и прекрасные, как люблю я вас, как боюсь я вас, знать увидел вас. Voilà.
Bravo.
The, it's still the morning for me. It's still early for me, you know.
It's not a big deal. The connection is not so good, but I hope everyone who was watching us like it was enjoying.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming for my interview. I was very happy to see you. Hope to see you.
It was an honor, really. Thank you for having me.
With my husband, we're waiting for you. You're personally invited to us. So when
Thank you. Спасибо вам большое.
I will be very happy to see you, really.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone who was watching us. I will save the live stream so everyone can watch. Have a nice evening. You have a nice day because in New York it's just 2, almost 3 p.m. So have a nice day and bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Diana, for having me. It's really an honor and a privilege to be interviewed by you. Congratulations for all the great things that you're doing. And thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. And I say hello to all your audience and all the wonderful people who are watching. Thank you again for having me. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.